Today, we're going to talk about three things: science, truth, and unification. Let's start at the beginning. There is one absolute unchanging truth about the origin and nature of life and man. There have been four realms trying to find this one truth: science, religion, philosophy, and the New Age movement. Based on the last few decades being the greatest period of scientific advancement in the history of man, science has commandeered the search for the one truth, telling us it's their exclusive domain. To this point, Stephen Hawking gave this quote from his 1988 bestseller, A Brief History of Time. He said, "However, in the 19th and 20th centuries, science became too technical and mathematical for the philosophers or anyone else except a few specialists." Neil deGrasse Tyson backs this up with some choice quotes.
The good thing about science is that it's true whether or not you believe in it.
One of the great things about science is that it is an entire exercise in finding what is true. It does it better than anything else we have ever come up with as human beings. This is science. It's not something to toy with.
In spite of these great quotes from these great men, no one's ever spoken of science's dirty little secret. Stay with me. In a perfect world, modern science would have started from the one truth of life and man. But it's not a perfect world. And contrary to popular belief, our scientific forefathers didn't start out from a foundation built upon the one absolute unchanging truth, but rather a place of almost total ignorance from a crude 19th century physical point of view. This failure to start from the one absolute truth of life and man is the original sin of modern science. The reality of this dirty little secret is that in the absence of the one truth, virtually all of our information is really just the highest level of ignorance, or the truth by default and the lie we all agree upon. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not throwing our scientific forefathers under the bus. They started with the best of intentions, but at that time, they didn't have computers and there was no internet. There was nothing. They were learning by trial and error and making it up as they went along. In her classic novel, Atlas Shrugged, Ayn Rand seemed to reference this original sin when she wrote, "The giants of intellect whom you admire so much once taught you that the earth was flat and that the atom was the smallest particle of matter. The entire history of science is a progression of exploded fallacies." Now, if there's any question about the lingering stain of this original sin in the 21st century, look no further than the holes, gaps, chasms, and mysteries that still abound, the constant change, conflict, and confusion for every point, premise, and postulate, and the paper trail of faded, failed, and disproven miracles, research, and experts.